Hi, my name is Ventayen, and this is going to be our lightning talk. So, we have come a long way from what reality used to be. I mean, in the top left picture, we have lots of wires and headsets and gloves. And it used to be really inefficient because the wires would be such a hassle. But now we have headsets that are wireless and as well as the controllers, and we can freely move them around. It's become something that's really easy for us to use. And now it's really fun and practical to use. So virtual reality has come to be a device that's used by people of all ages. I've seen a lot of people to love virtual reality. And even in my experience, in the top right picture, we would have lots of people try out virtual reality. And that's my high school. So when my teacher introduced virtual reality to us, everyone loved it. So it's proven that it can be an important part in our lives, and we're learning that it can be used for more things than just gaming. Virtual reality has the possibility to be helpful in different careers as well. We're seeing more applications in things such as training for pilots and astronauts to help them practice for missions. In the top right picture, that was an event that I volunteered for. And basically, we would show pilots virtual reality. So these are actually kids training to become pilots. We're showing them scenarios or cases that would help them in the future on their maybe cases that they will encounter in their missions. So in the long run, it would help them a lot, as well as the astronauts as well. So virtual reality opens up a lot of possibilities, and it could apply to a whole lot more if VR were to get more advanced in the future.
Right here, we're going to talk about immersion in virtual reality. And the thing about VR is that, um, depending on how you use it, you become more immersed in an environment. But when it comes to horror games, I think that's the perfect example of being fully immersed in an environment, especially for virtual reality. The perfect example for this is actually Resident Evil 7, which is a really good game that Capcom made where you go into this one house in the slums, and the best part is that it's in VR. You're free to move anywhere. You're and everything. You're completely immersed. I remember when I played this, it was very terrifying because everything there felt pretty real, and it just makes me really excited to see what they can do with VR, just based on what they did with Resident Evil 7. They also they're making Resident Evil 4 again in virtual reality, which is really cool. It's good to see that they're still working on VR for horror games because that's a very big part of VR. I think it's a really good selling point for a lot of people. And even though there's these are only two games I can think of when it comes to horror games, which is making me really worried about the future of VR. Not only because I'm not seeing many games with VR, but because of the prices, and the prices are very high. At least for the new Valve Index, that is $1,000. There's also the Oculus Rift, but the thing about these is that, like, sure, they're really expensive, but you can always find them for cheaper stuff. So it's not that big a deal. But the thing is, it is kind of worrisome to see like where VR is headed because of these ridiculous prices. Not everyone can afford to have like gloves with movable fingers, but hopefully one day we can get there. That would be really cool, I think. All right.